Wubbels. I'm a professor of education in the Faculty of Social and Behavioral Sciences in Utrecht University, the Netherlands. The first 10 minutes of the first lesson are crucial for the development of the relationship, and that's why you should have trained on these first 10 minutes, thought about how you want to be, because it's not that every teacher should do that in the same way. From our research we know that the worse the relationship in the first lesson is, the more the chance that it's going down further. If you have a good relationship in the first lesson, then there might even be a tendency to go up, to get an even better relationship. And the teacher-student relationship is a generalized impression of the students of the teacher. When we talk about behavior, I would say this teacher is friendly at this moment. And that can change from second to second, whereas the relationship is much more stable. And we have one model. That model can be used for both things. The model has two dimensions: agency and communion. Steering, friendly, understanding, imposing, confrontational, satisfied, and uncertain. So these are two dimensions. And well, at this moment, I'm high on agency. You are listening, so you are low on agency. Colleagues say, well, you have some problems and you become a little bit more strict. When they are still high on communion and low on agency, there is what we call a friendly disorderly. And then if the teacher tries to be stricter, he says, well, pay attention. And then the students say, oh, this was a nice teacher, although he couldn't explain things well. But now he's becoming angry. So then they also become angry, and you can get an aggressive spiral. You turn from a friendly disorderly situation into an aggressive disorderly situation. Misconceptions about our model is that we say, well, it's good to be in the upper right part of the model. Mm-hmm. You should be high on steering, friendly and understanding. That means, and low on confrontational, unsatisfied and uncertain. Okay, then they say the behavior should be high on that and low on that. That is not always the case. If a student throws a tomato to your head, you have to be confrontational. You have to say, it's not allowed to throw tomatoes. So you should then be low on communion instead of high on. That's necessary. So there the behavior and the relationships are in order to be on the relationship high on the agency and communion. Every now you will have to be low on communion. You have to correct, and in fact, you have to prevent that they throw a tomato. You have to react very early. That's one of the problems of that friendly teacher that I talked about in the beginning. They write on the blackboard, and then at a moment, suddenly they think, this is not allowed. And they become very angry for a short. What they should learn is, while teaching, pay attention to everything what's happening in the classroom, and have a small measure. So what is the lowest one? Probably you're talking and you're moving your head towards the students. That's all. Do 1 step towards the student. Do 3 steps towards the students. Stop talking for half a second. Stop talking for 2 seconds. Mention the student's name. In the Netherlands, the most intense one. This is very, very difficult for beginning teachers. So complementarity is expectation of the most probable behavior of someone in response to the behavior of the other. And the complementarity on the communion and agency dimension are different. The friendly behavior evokes friendly behavior of the other. If I'm friendly to you, you will tend to be friendly to me too. So that's on the communion level. Of course, they will have to correct every now and then, but the teacher becomes a little bit confrontational. The students say, well, we don't want to listen. Well, of course, if they are high enough on agency, then it will work. But usually beginning teachers are not able to do that in a high enough agency way. If the teacher asks a question to the students and they can't stand the silence, then they answer the question themselves. Students learn we don't have to answer the question because the teacher will answer it himself. The students become lower and lower on agency and the teacher higher and higher on agency. And that's also something you don't want. If you want to have interaction, you must be able to wait for the answer. And waiting for the answer means being low on agency. So these two principles are very important for student teachers to know about and to be able to use them.